A list that is largely unknown to the public and one that most police officers probably want to keep their name off of. It's called a Brady or Giglio list, and it's kept by county prosecutors and their staff.
The list contains the names of law enforcement officers who may have crossed the line while wearing the badge. Some are no longer working in law enforcement, but TV5 investigative reporter Meredith St. Henry found some still are.
Through the Freedom of Information Act, I requested the list from every prosecutor in the TV5 viewing area, from Roscommon to Genesee County, asking for a copy of their Brady or Giglio list. These are the lists I got back. We wanted to see how many names are on the list and how many officers are still on the job. Prosecutors do not need to keep a list, but it is required by law for prosecutors to disclose to a defendant if a law enforcement officer has credibility concern if they are called to testify.
Brady versus Maryland, Your Honor.
It helps bring transparency, and obviously the most important piece there is it levels the playing field.
Brady material, information that is critical to a defendant's meaningful right to cross-examination.
The lists date back to 2 U.S. Supreme Court cases, Brady v. Maryland in 1963.
Brady requires us to turn over any exculpatory evidence, and we want to do that because the job of the prosecutor is fairness and equity and justice. We're not there just to advocate for a conviction. We're there to protect the defendant's 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights.
It may be something in the process that lends more to the defendant's innocence, or it lends more to the case not being as good or going in the direction that maybe that law enforcement thought about initially.
And Giglio v. United States in 1972.
Rule in Giglio versus the United States that if there is in fact a witness who has some credibility issues in the past, we have to turn that information over. Specifically, it relates to police officers when we talk about a Giglio list. So we like to keep a list of those officers who might have had issues in the past.
Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton's Giglio list was the most comprehensive, with 22 names on it.
We rely on the police chiefs of the many municipalities that I deal with in Genesee County to let us know what's going on. I mean, you know, maybe somebody took a car home when they shouldn't have. Maybe somebody turned in hours that they didn't actually work. It can be a whole array of things.
We cross-checked the names currently on the list with employment records of local police agencies, including the Michigan State Police. Immediately, 3 names jumped out. In 2023, TV5 first told you about 3 Michigan State Police staff members. First Lieutenant Yvonne Brantley, Lieutenant Michael Phillips, and Lieutenant Thomas Dogie. They were placed on leave for an internal affairs investigation into the promotion and selection processes at the Flint Post. It was discovered that Brantley and Phillips gave exam questions to favored candidates and lied about it in the internal investigation. Dogie received the exam questions as a candidate and lied about it in the internal investigation. Brantley and Phillips no longer work for the state police. Through a civil service hearing, Dogie got his job back.
Let's say they've got some write-ups from their department, or if in fact they've been charged criminally, or if in fact something has taken place in their background that would cause a jury or the judge to wonder if in fact this person is telling the truth as they allege when they approach the judge for a given warrant.
Other law enforcement officers listed are still working in Genesee County, including 2 originally from the Mount Morris Township Police Department. We aren't going to use their names, but according to the list, officer number 1 was put on it for lying during an internal investigation. That officer is still with the department, even though the chief had no comment when asked if that officer is currently employed. Officer number 2 is listed for lying about sleeping with a victim on a case. When we asked the chief about him, he stated the officer was never accused, nor was it ever found out that he was sleeping with the victim, but had other disciplinary actions. The chief also told us that officer hasn't worked for the department for more than a year. That's because officer number 2 is now with the Metro Police Authority of Genesee County, and the chief there tells us he's doing a great job. A detective with the Metro Police Authority is also listed for being untruthful about the use of a take-home car. Metro's chief said he couldn't confirm that allegation and told us the detective wasn't disciplined for any such issue while working at the department. He also said he's a good employee.
I believe that it would put kind of a chilling effect towards their testimony. I believe that's the best way that we would think of that. We're not advocating that anyone be fired, but at least let their potential for impeachment be outlined by whatever their potential testimony might be.
In Bay County, it's a different story. The new Bay County prosecuting attorney, Michael Konocheski, stepped into the role at the beginning of the year. To his knowledge, there is no current list.
I don't think we have a lot of officers that have those issues, thank God. So that's a positive, good thing. But you always have officers coming in and out, too, through Michigan State Police and things like that.
But it's something he says he is working on and plans on maintaining a list if he finds there are law enforcement officers with credibility concerns.
Well, absolutely. For like I said, for transparency, to make sure we're doing things the right way. It's not about winning and losing. It's about justice. So even when you're putting together a list like this, you want to make sure it's what needs to be in there for just, fair outcomes to happen.
We also received lists from Saginaw, Iosco, and Clare counties. Saginaw's list named 7 officers, but did not state why those officers were on the list. Clare County had 1 officer from the Clare County Sheriff's Office on their list, but said that officer no longer works there. Iosco County also named 1 officer who's now with the Michigan State Police West Branch Post.